This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening. I'm Sabrina Brown. Thank you for joining us. Much of the country is still talking about the first ever Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival. The festival held last weekend in New Providence made a huge impression among participants and spectators alike. Tonight, the Minister of Tourism is talking about plans to tweak the festival to make it a signature event for the country. Megan Shepherd reports.
Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Obi Wolscombe, dubbing the first ever Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival a success. He says based on this success, the tourism team and some performers have been invited to other carnival events, including the states of Atlanta and Florida.
We had lots of people who came from Atlanta, of the diaspora. We had lots of people who came from Trinidad and Tobago, lots who came from Jamaica, other parts of the diaspora, the world, but they came to the Bahamas for the event. The critical thing is we didn't have a Junkanoo Carnival before. So what were they coming to? Okay, we're going to have one. Well, let's see what happens. Well, it's already happened. The first step has been made now. And when you plant the seed, it's now going to grow. And that's what we did. We planted the seed. I think the success of it will cause it to grow very quickly.
He says the next step now is to assess the various aspects of the event to determine which methods of marketing were successful and how the event was perceived through social media.
Critical, though, is having more inventory. Even if you had the visitors coming, they probably wouldn't have the hotel rooms. Here's the problem, particularly in New Providence. So we've got to get Bahama open, and we've got to get the other hotels open in New Providence, and our marketing team has already started its work. We're doing an inventory now. We recognize that we had more than 17 million. Our preliminary numbers show we had more than 17 million unique expressions on the internet, whether it's Google, whether it's Facebook. There were more than 17 million. So we're doing an assessment to understand exactly what happened. And that's one group. The other group is looking at how the billboards worked, how the mentions were in the various newscasts, and what's happening subsequent to the events.
Minister Wolscombe says this event proved to the world that the small nation of the Bahamas is indeed an equal. Going forward, he says more Bahamian involvement through local talent will be incorporated into the nation's brand. His ministry, he notes, is working to create more stages for Bahamian artists, more festivals, and even talking to hotels to showcase more live artists.
I think Bahamians have to understand what we have. My concern, to be honest with you, is giving more opportunities to the Bahamian musicians and artists, because for the most part they've been left aside for too long. And political parties and governments have given a lot of talk, but nothing. And so you've seen it constantly, persistently die. You've seen where the great ones have moved off the stage with nowhere to go. And they've had to join the workforce and not able to demonstrate their true gifts and talent. They're not playing at hotels. They're not being featured in the major events we're having. So we're changing all that.
The tourism minister says that the critical part is to create a good mix of the Junkanoo brand with the Carnival brand, and the Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival event will be a huge success. Megan Shepherd, ZNS Network News.
As the 2015 hurricane season approaches, the Grand Bahama Red Cross Center is assembling its Hurricane Preparedness Committee. Administrator at the center, Stephanie Barr, says they will be working along with NEMA and Social Services once again this year, and they are ready to assist in the event of a disaster. Chairman of the committee, Patrick Ferguson, is advising the public to remain alert and responsive to authorities in the event of an emergency.
I would like the public to know that we are on our way and we're meeting to get the preparedness on its way so that we are not left out, and we are partnering with NEMA and Social Services. So we are one big group, one big family in order to help our citizens here in Grand Bahama.
Whenever a disaster should come, whether it be hurricane or floods or whatever, please listen to the authorities, because they are the ones that know what's happening with the weather situation. So please, once again, please listen to the authorities when the warnings do go out. Okay, and we here at the Red Cross, we've just assembled our disaster preparedness team, and we'll be meeting starting from this Monday, every other Monday.
Committee members also reminding the public that an emergency can strike without any warning and that they should not wait until the announcement of a disaster to begin preparations. Acting Chairman Rinaldi Forbes is also reminding the public that their assistance is always needed and and appreciated.
Thanks a lot, public, for the assistance and donation, whether it's in-kind donation, whether it's manpower, whether it's financial and so forth. Anything makes goes towards help in disaster. And disaster, as you mentioned, also could be anything. Whether you feel then that you can't do anything, coming here and manning the phones or whatever the case is, that goes a long way because we're going to be inundated with persons coming in and trying to assist and so forth. So if you could, any skills that you have that you think that could be beneficial, then we are going to call upon the public to try and come in. And just try not to wait until the season comes. We want it now because now is the time, because then once we have a data pool of persons and so forth, then make it easier.
The Grand Bahama Performing Arts Center is now a reality thanks to the contributions and efforts of a number of corporate partners. Those stakeholders were given a tour of the facility that is expected to become a hub of activity for the youth of Grand Bahama. Kimberly Mullings has the story.
There's no doubt that the Grand Bahama Youth Choir makes the island proud, and the Grand Bahama Shipyard had and has no problem sponsoring the choir, especially CEO Carl Rotkirch, who sang in a choir as a young boy.
What incredible talent this choir has developed, and I think very much thanks to Kevin Tomlinson, who is really unbelievably a creative leader.
Chief Operation Officer Ruben Bird is passionate about youth development on Grand Bahama Island. For this, he says, each year the Grand Bahama Shipyard will sponsor the choir financially.
Absolute beautiful voices, wonderful children. I think it's a great thing. It gives them something to come to and develop themselves instead of go home and sit in front of a TV or, go find trouble somewhere.
Kay Forbes Smith, Shipyard Director of Human Resources and Community Relation, has been behind Kevin Tomlinson and the Grand Bahama Youth Choir from its inception in 2009. She says she finds the choir beneficial for its members.
I know when I was appointed Consul General in Atlanta, I brought the choir to Atlanta in 2009 to perform. They were a tremendous hit, and those are the kinds of things that we want our young people to be involved in. We want them to travel, we want them to get exposed, and I think this choir is an excellent group, and they always represent Grand Bahama very well.
Kelly's Grand Bahama contributes to various organizations on the island. However, Representative Lynn Lowe notes that because of Tomlinson's investment in the choir, she had to step forward.
We've been through some tough economic times, but like the other gentleman said, the kids are our future, and as much as you can train them and guide them in good directions, keep them off the streets and into bad things, I am so much behind that in every way, and he's worked very hard.
The Grand Bahama Port Authority donated the building to the Grand Bahama Youth Choir. President Ian Roll urges more young people to get involved in activities, and to corporate Grand Bahama, he says you should support more positive organizations like the choir.
I know a few of them in the program, and they're totally transformed as a result of coming through this. So I endorse this particular program 100%. And encourage more kids to get involved in the arts.
Members of the Grand Bahama Youth Choir and director Kevin Tomlinson are inviting all to stop by the Performing Arts Center for details about their programs. Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Network News.
The Northern Edition is coming right back.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Education, Science and Technology Technical Cadet Corps program is into its 20th year. The initiative encourages the youth to embrace careers in the field of technology. During the graduation and prize-giving ceremony last night, graduates heard from a leader in the field. Kimberly Mullings was there.
The theme was Embracing Technology Today, the Foundation of Tomorrow. Leon Williams, CEO of BTC, delivered the keynote address to the graduating class, addressing the digital revolution.
We're ending up with a problem that I don't know how our parents will handle this, but we'll end up with a serious problem because we've got a socialization problem. Maslow's law has got to be redefined. So we learn about the hierarchy of needs in Maslow's law. It has been redefined. The young people of this generation wants to be connected 24/7.
Williams added that the times have definitely changed, noting that young engineers are the future.
We need these bright engineers to get into the world to start becoming producers. We can't afford to continue to wait for the Bahamas and the Atlantices. Those days are finished.
He also spoke to parents and guardians in the audience, urging them to embrace these changes.
The way our kids today are wired is completely different from us as parents when we were growing up. Completely different. And so we've got to march along with the time.
For the upcoming graduates and those interested in the growing field of engineering, the telecom CEO insists on them joining the Technical Cadets Corps program.
So I encourage them, get involved in the program, and one never knows, as I stated before, where the next viral program is going to come from. It could come right here inside the Bahamas.
Williams left the graduates with one final bit of advice: to go for gold by representing the 242 academically.
Try your hardest to get, if you can't get a scholarship, find some way to get funding. Go to school. You need to go to school. Do not drop out.
It doesn't stop there. He wants the graduates to make the Bahamas proud.
And then when you go to school, come back home to build the country. We who stay at home got to find an environment so that they could get placed. Because when I go to places like Atlanta, I go to places like the United States, there are plenty smart Bahamians abroad who do not come back home simply because the opportunities are not available to them. But we've got to build this little country and make this country the best little country in the world, the Bahamas, the 242.
Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Network News.
The Grand Bahama Entertainers and Musicians Association preparing to take to the stage in a memorial concert tomorrow night in honor of fallen Bahamian entertainer Johnny Camp. Local entertainers have come together to put on the musical tribute for Camp, who died almost a month ago after falling and hitting his head on rocks on a beach in Jamaica. Coordinator Nat Cambridge says they are expecting some out-of-town performers as well for the concert on Taino Beach.
I encourage all Grand Bahamian entertainers and artists to come out and share in this moment and to share their talents with the people, and let's support the family and support them in this time of their coming bereavement. And we can say our farewells because we're not all going to be able to fit in that church, but we can all fit on Taino Beach and share in that moment with them.
Freeport High, Freeport Anglican High, Bishop Michael Eldon School. And we will do all that we can to keep his memory alive. As Mr. Wallace had said, we will name one of our music awards in his honor. And we just want to let the family know that anything that the school can do to assist in any way, just ask. I know at the function on the 15th, the school will be a part of that wonderful occasion as we celebrate a wonderful life of someone who has gone too soon.
A homegoing service is planned for this Saturday at Jubilee Cathedral at 11 a.m. Her story is one that continues to inspire, and despite her many challenges, she remains in high spirits. Tonight, we take a closer look at the life of a young woman who has beaten the odds. 19-year-old Tunisia Moss is being described by many as a walking miracle, having battled serious health challenges over the years. At the age of 12, she conquered scoliosis, and in 2012, she was diagnosed with an uncommon condition which made it difficult for her to breathe, walk, or talk. After spending 6 months in hospital in New Providence, Tunisia returned home, but she needed a ventilator to help her breathe. Her father, Andrew Moss, says for the past 2.5 weeks, Tunisia did not need the ventilator, and her health continues to improve.
Probably within the next 3 to 4 weeks, the tracheostomy that she has in the neck that attaches to the ventilator at night would come out for good, because for the past 2.5 weeks she didn't need the ventilator, so which is a good sign for someone who's been on it for over 3 years, and she's doing all of the breathing on her own, so that also is a type of therapy to strengthen the muscle.
Andrew says over the past 3 years, support from the community has been overwhelming.
We would just like to thank the Grand Bahamian public for praying for her and believing in her, coming to where she is now as to where she'd been 3 years ago. We obviously thank the Edness and you guys for bringing the story to the public to see that miracles do happen and continue to happen.
Tanisha says she's grateful to be back on her feet again, and she's starting to get her life back on track.
I go to the gym twice a day, and sometimes I go on the beach. Just want to thank God for bringing me this far, and to tell people out there to continue to pray for me.
And Tanisha is certainly an incredible young lady. We wish her all the best. And now to our nightly feature, Ask the Doctor.
Hi, I'm Dr. Monique Pratt. Welcome to my special edition this week on lupus. Michelle's final question is, do people with lupus have to follow a special diet? Again, thank you for your great questions this week, Michelle. And the answer is yes. Sometimes patients with lupus need to follow a special diet. When the disease is active, also known as a lupus flare, there may be some dietary restrictions. Your doctor, along with your dietitian, will determine what is the best diet for you. If you develop kidney disease as a result of your lupus, also called lupus nephritis, you may need to eat less protein because most patients with lupus nephritis have protein in their urine, which in large amounts can cause further damage to the kidneys. If you have high blood pressure and lupus, you should eat a diet low in salt and take the medications prescribed by your doctor to control your blood pressure. Because if your blood pressure is not controlled, this can also cause further damage to your kidneys. If you are overweight, losing weight may help to control your blood pressure as well. But remember, it's important to discuss with your doctor before starting any exercise or weight loss program. Do you have a question or just concerned about your health? Please post it at PHA Bahamas on Facebook, email askthedrbahamas@gmail.com, or drop it in my question box at any of our Grand Bahama community clinics. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and this has been Ask the Doctor.
Stay with us. Sports is up next with Ricardo Liborn.
Welcome to Sports, everybody. I'm Ricardo Lightborn. Do not blink or else you're going to miss it, okay? The Falcons of Tabernacle Christian Academy held a sports celebration on Wednesday, striving for success, and they're doing just that. Strive for Excellence was the theme for the Tabernacle Baptist Christian Academy Award celebration. The students, faculty, and staff sharing in the celebration of basketball, volleyball, softball, and track and field championships. The school administrator, Alphys Woodside, told the athletes to never forget where you came from and the importance of a helping hand.
I often say those that are standing on the first rung of the ladder, if they slip, they may skin a knee. But those that reach the top, when you do not remember others, when you fall, you can break a leg. And so always be mindful of those that you pass on your way up, and that you may try to be an inspirator and to help them and to bring them up to your level. So as others have helped you in this process, try to be a helper to others too.
The grade 1 and 2 students brought a hearty welcome that touched the hearts of everyone in the church hall. The Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Obi Wolscombe, enjoyed the performance and the wealth of talent at Tabernacle Academy. Vice Principal Darren Roll stressed to the student athletes the importance of giving back, the awards with their glitter to be presented to the teams. Minister Wolscombe enforced the message of giving back and using that God-given talent to make a difference.
At the end of the day, it's your talent, and your talent opened doors for you. It's up to you, though, to utilize it. And that is why I don't want you to take what you've achieved today and said, I've arrived. You have just started. That's the first step. The next step. And then there's the next step. And then one of the most important steps is how do you inspire others?
The Falcons track team again showed their dominance, winning island sports. The girls softball champions undefeated, and the road to success was paved. Take note, said the minister. Congrats to the Tabernacle Falcons on the Super Sports year, and remember, as coaches have given much to your success, you have an obligation to those young ones waiting for their turn to shine. I'm trying to figure what Ozzy doing in my shot. Anyhow, the Grand Bahama Regatta Committee is currently in a rebirth, rebuilding, and rebranding stage. Our Kimberly Mullings has the detail on this, but hopefully Ozzy in this one.
The Grand Bahama Regatta Committee is currently giving the cultural event a much-needed facelift for events on water and even on land, July 17th and 18th. Chairman Shaviti Campbell says residents and visitors alike can expect to have a great time.
They can expect to learn more about the sailing aspect of it. They can expect that when they come, they will taste native dishes and of course enjoy the beach, enjoy the scenery of the beach, and enjoy a safe and clean environment. And so when you come out, you want to come out and let your hair down. If you have no hair, you let the wind just blow through your scalp. But you want to enjoy yourself, really, and learn about our sailing event.
Committee member Derek Moxie says this year's sailing portion of Regatta will only feature C-Class boats, something he's looking forward to.
We hope to have a big fleet of the C-Class boats down here. And we're going to be running a nice racetrack, a nice regatta this year.
Moxie added that the committee is pleased to involve the island's youth.
We have all the high schools involved, or 6 members from each high school, where we'll be doing a high school race, also along with the point race for the regatta itself.
The committee is calling on corporate Grand Bahama to step forward and assist where they could. The Grand Bahama Regatta is set to take place on Tino Beach, July 17th and 18th. Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Total Sports.
Now, this Saturday, the committee is going to be hosting a boat cruise. It's going to be departing from Flamingo Resort at 8 o'clock in the evening. Go out and support them and make sure it happens. Well, the Grand Bahama Flag Football League will return to the gridiron this coming Sunday at the Plex. Women's division leaders so far, the Lady Police and Forces undefeated at 4-0. The Freeport Container Port Piranhas, they're also right there, folks. They are right there at 4-0 as well. As far as the 3-1, that goes to the MLM Eagles, the Lady Marines, and also the Candies Meat and Poultry Crushers. They are sitting at 500 at 2-2. The Lady Warriors are 1-3 heading into week 5. Hot Shots Liquor Assassins are 0-4, and also winless at 0-4 is the High Rock Stingers. Now, as far as the men are concerned, well, you've got the MSC Tritons, Bahama Rock Excavators, and the Freeport Container Port Stackers all sitting at 3-1 with 2 wins and a loss. GB Shipyard Wreckers and those Chances Alliance. The Fast Track Flyers and Police Enforcers are at 2-2 with the 1-2 mark is the Walker-Wallers and the Sands Bears. Westminster Runners are 1-3 and still looking for that win. The Grand Key Sharks, and they are simply having themselves all kinds of problems. And that's a look at your sports tonight. I told you not to blink. That's it.